This past week, the Montgomery County Council heard testimony about implementing a vaccine passport. According to press accounts, the testimony was lopsidedly against it, but the county council expects to decide later this month. Cary, can the county administer something like this? If you've gotten a booster or it's been 6 months since your last jab, should the passport expire?
You know what? This new passport is mind-boggling to me. The fact of the matter is, just because you've had your vaccine and the booster doesn't mean you can't get Omicron. Omicron is highly transmissible. Not to mention, young children can't get the vaccine. We all live with them. We're not going to isolate our children, our 5-year-olds. I think what the passport does is it creates a false sense of security, and could do more harm than good. It's just a problem. It's problematic. It's filled with problems, and not to mention, are our policemen? How much more do you want to ask?
Well, Nicolee, Cary just brought up a good point that you can, still transmit it even though you've been vaccinated. So what do you make of this county council proposal?
Apparently, Montgomery County doesn't want anyone to come visit businesses and restaurants in Montgomery County anymore, because I might be vaccinated, but I am certainly not presenting my papers to go anywhere. It's a very slippery slope. If you do it for one thing, the government can require it of anything else of you in the future. But I have to say, my opinion is Omicron is here. Well, COVID is here to stay. Omicron has completely cut out the legs of any intellectual argument about vaccine passports, because as you said, you can get or give it regardless of being vaccinated. But the key point is, this is not like the polio vaccine that totally eradicated the disease in this country. Since you can get or give it, there's no logical reason to say, you're limited in your exposure to everyday life with or without the vaccine.
Well, it's interesting. So the council is pursuing this. They're not indicating as to where they are going to come out. Cary, you got any predictions as to what the council will decide? I mean, we heard where you stand on it. We've also heard where lots of people testimony, but the council.
With this council, it's hard to tell. I mean, honestly, they think they're doing the right thing. But the reality is, when we wanted to get people to quit smoking, how do we do it? Did we lock them up? Did we make them, forcibly try to do it? No, you have to create incentives. You have to create a program where we explain that it's problematic, and people should take more responsibility. And unfortunately, that's not what's happening here. Look, I'm a fan of the masks. I'm a fan of vaccinations. I'm a fan of the boosters. But the reality is, I want to convince people. A neighbor of mine recently passed away from Omicron. This is some serious business. If someone chooses not to show self-control, self-respect, and addressing the problem, you may not know the person that you impact, that you, in effect, kill inadvertently. So government needs to take a different approach. We need to start encouraging people, showing on TV the failures of not being vaccinated, of not having your booster, and not wearing your mask. It's that simple.
So Nicolee, the more that these kind of proposals come out, do you think this is actually making some people at least, that much more resistant because they don't respond well to that kind of pressure?
You're absolutely right, Mark. I can't tell you how many people I know who were willing to get vaccinated until the Biden administration and Joe Biden himself started standing up the White House podium, threatening people and telling people you're killing people without the vaccine. And once again, Omicron completely undermines all of these intellectual arguments. If you can get or give it with or without the vaccine, why on earth would the government try to push these mandates?
Well, let's kind of talk about just how polarized folks are.